Hey, and welcome to my channel. My name's Sabrina. I talk about all things photography, videography, and writing related. Sorry, you're going to have to excuse me. I actually have a bit of a sore throat because last night I was laughing so hard. Anyway, so I wanted to talk today because in my last video, which it's also been a hot minute since I last uploaded, but I wanted to talk about my Strata 35 and all the way that the photos came out. And yeah, so let's get started. So first things first, if you haven't already seen that video, I'm going to leave the link somewhere for you to see it. But basically, I got the camera from my sister who found it at a garage sale. She then gifted it to me so that I could use it to take photos and experiment with film photography. I took my Strata 35 with FujiColor Superia 200 and I took it around the city of Toronto. I took it to Indonesia and shot a few pictures in Bali, and when I returned I dropped it off to get the photos processed. Now keep in mind, this was the second time that I took the film from this camera to go get developed. The first time they couldn't actually save any of the photos. There was a problem because the film got stuck in the spool, and because of that I had to cut it out. The second time I believe the same problem happened, but they were able to process some of the pictures. So I did get about 27 pictures out of it in total. One thing I would say is that if you do decide to use a camera like that, just remember that there is no light meter. A couple of things that I did like about the camera though was the fact that I had full control of everything that was happening, and I did like the feel of having a solid metal camera in my hands. So with that, let's review the photos and see what happened, because some of them when they came out were pretty cool despite the double exposure, and some of them were basically a loss. So I'm going to be putting the photos on the screen so you can see them as I'm reviewing them. The first one I want to talk about is pretty cool. So if you look, you'll see the TD Bank, the street and everything, and if you look a little bit closer, it appears I tried to take a picture of a puddle or something. I don't really know, it's been a while since I looked at these. But I think with this one, it wasn't that bad. It could have been better for the double exposure. This one here, I actually kind of like too. So if you look, you'll see the old style streetcars that they just got rid of in the city. You'll see the buildings downtown, the towers, and I believe that is an apartment building somewhere in the background. These set of photos are actually together. So if you look at them closely, you'll see one of them is an apartment building close to where I used to live, and some light. This here is a church that is really close to the Eden Center. And then if you look at the second photo, it's like part of it on the bottom part, and then there's some kind of tower, and then there's a sidewalk with a garbage can in the middle of winter. That one I kind of like. It turned out pretty cool. Now this is one of my favorites. So it's another apartment building close to where I used to live, but if you look, there's another apartment building inside it and then some trees. This has to be one of my favorite pictures that came out of this whole experience. It's one of the most cohesive, to be honest, because some of them you can't even see properly. This is another one of my favorites. It's like pine trees and snow. I can't really remember where I took it, but if you look closely, there's like a little tower in there and some more snow and some berries or something. This one here, it looks like one, oh, I kind of remember taking this one. So if you look at it horizontally, you'll see there's kind of those electric boxes on the side of the street, but then when you tilt the photo so that it's vertically, you can see there's trees and stuff in there, and I think there's another apartment building. So this one actually I remember too, because where I used to live, it was like a bunch of old houses in a subdivision. So the way the sidewalk was, there was like a fence, and it was very old and rusted, and it had a bunch of different colors on it. It's been there for years and years and years, longer than I can remember. So that's what that was if you look at it landscape wise. Portrait wise, you'll see that it's a close-up of the fence and all the rust that's accumulated over the years. As to what that tower thing is, I have no idea. The next one is pretty cool. I don't know what the bottom layer is, but the top layer is actually a fence and then grapevines at the top. There are a lot of families in that area that had their own grapevines, and they would pick them and make wine and stuff. On the one half, all that white stuff, it's a bunch of flowers from one of those pop-up free Instagram places that you go and just take a bunch of selfies in. I brought my film camera and I decided to take pictures of the flowers, which was basically one giant flower wall. And I guess it was too bright in there and that's why it turned white. If you tilt it, you can see the DTC tickets and key cutting sign. That was actually taken in Bathurst Station on my way home one day. And it's actually it resembles the signs that used to be in Honest Ed's when it was still around. You can also see Yonge Station there, one of the major subway stations in the city. The cool thing about this photo though is that you can see the lines of the film. So this was actually taken in Indonesia. I was at a temple to watch a fire dance, and it was the story of the monk for the Sultan's wife and stuff, and it was pretty cool. I'm very upset that this photo didn't come out better because it was my first time in a country that was different than Canada or the United States. So I was hoping to have something like really cool to bring back. I mean, it was my first time, so I guess I'm not upset. It was a learning experience. It was something different and something new, and I did get to experiment a little bit with it. So I guess that's all for that. That's all for today's video. Be sure to comment below and tell me about your experience with double exposure, because I love to hear stories about people and any mistakes that they had to learn from it, or some cool things that they did so that they can come out with great art themselves. So definitely leave that below. I will definitely read it. My favorite ones will be pinned. So yeah, that's all for today, and thank you very much. Have a good night. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!